For introductions and thesis statements, before we get started, I want to take a couple minutes and show you what I have open so you know what you need to have open on your screen as well. First, I have this notes page. So you need a piece of paper, or you can open up a document, something that you're going to keep your notes on. Then I have sample essay 1. This is the hard copy that was distributed in class the other day, or you can access it on the website. And then I have my sample essay going over intros and thesis. This is available also on my webpage. You should have all of those open because we're going to be going back and forth a little bit. So for intros and thesis statements, once you have all those open and you're ready to take notes, you are good to go. The first thing we're going to talk about is a strong thesis statement. Even though it comes at the end of the introduction and not the beginning, it is the most crucial part, so we want to start there. Some information about what a strong or good thesis statement should do. First of all, we know that it guides you as the writer. It helps you organize your ideas, and then it also lets the audience know what evidence you are going to present in your essay. It is a preview. Don't worry about spoiling it for us. We do need to know an outline of what you're going to be talking about. The next thing it does is takes a stand. You should not be wishy-washy here. You are making a claim about whether this author or writer does an effective job. That's your job. I have read horrible essays that I can tell are going to be horrible as soon as I read their thesis statement, because their thesis statement is wishy-washy. So take a stand. Last but not least, you want to clearly state and explain the rhetorical techniques you are going to analyze and whether they are effective or not. In class, we talked about this as the two parts of the thesis. First, you identify the rhetorical techniques and strategies the author used. Secondly, you evaluate whether they are effective or not. Some things to keep in mind for what not to do. We are no longer using the I think or I believe. All that does is weaken your argument. So we are going to have it out of our papers from here on out. You will state it as a fact. Either yes, the author does an effective job at these rhetorical strategies, or no, the author tries these rhetorical strategies, but they are not effective. State it as a fact. You are not expressing your opinion on the topic. We've talked about this in class. Please, please, please clarify your thesis with me if you are unsure. We want to make sure you are focusing on analyzing the argument presented in the documentary. Along those lines, your thesis should not summarize the documentary. We want your argument about the documentary, but not a summary in your thesis. Here are some strong thesis statements. You can pause and take a minute to check these out. All of them do exactly what we talked about. So if we look at this one, Myers includes many convincing logical arguments through the use of historical facts. That is the identify. What does the author do? Then this part, her readers may doubt their objectivity because of her sarcastic tone. That is the evaluation. Does the author do a good job using those techniques or not? You can also see it in here. Roberts employs rhetorical appeals of pathos and ethos effectively. That's identifying. What do they do? However, and now we have the evaluation. Yours should have both of those parts. I want to take a moment and show you what that looks like in a couple of our essays. And we're going to be color coding several of these different things. So in the Harriet Clark sample essay that you have, it's identified for you and talked about in class, but I want to make sure everybody's on the same page and go ahead and highlight that this is that writer's thesis. We have at the beginning, building her credibility with personal facts and reputable sources. That's identifying what she does. Then our however, it doesn't work. That's the evaluating. I want to show you in another one too. I have linked a sample that I was working on, and we're going to talk about some of those parts. I would recommend you take a minute and read through it first, but I want to go ahead and show you the thesis on this one, and that comes down here. Oops. And I will highlight that so we've got it. And in this one, same deal as before. At the beginning, they do present some interesting facts about the robot. That is identifying what they do. And then we have a turning point, and we begin to evaluate. That is what your thesis should look like. As always, if you have questions, by all means, bring me your thesis at some point, and we can talk about it. I will be glad to check it for you and give you some feedback. Moving on to the rest of the introduction. Remember, we are out of 5-paragraph essay world. You do not need an only 1-paragraph introduction. It might go into 2 paragraphs. If you have detailed information or you need to do a bit more summary than somebody else, you might have a 2-paragraph introduction. That's okay, as long as your thesis statement is still clear and present. Your intro is going to start with some hooks. We all know that that's a way to get your reader interested. The one note that I have about that is do not start any college essays with a question. Students say, well, I had a teacher in the past tell me to open with a question, and I ask them, what grade were you in? And most of the time, they say 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade. You are no longer in 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade. You should not be starting any essays with a question. There are plenty of ideas for you. You can see me for more ideas. No questions as hooks. I want to go back to our examples and show you what these writers do. In this one, your hook is right here. We'll make that a different color. They're hooking you with the idea. It's a broad statement and bringing you into the essay. In mine, I wanted to show you an example of using a small personal anecdote. The one disclaimer I would have is this might even be too much for our word limit. But for now it's okay. I might revise it in drafting if it's too much. But this is using a personal small anecdote in order to hook the reader, get them interested. So we have our hook first. After that, we have to provide context. And this is how you connect your hook as a transition to your thesis. Now, make sure you keep in mind this information. This is absolutely essential in the first paragraph of your essay. I will even show you that on my web page, I have proper format in MLA format of how you write the title of a documentary. Please check that out. I'm telling you now, I will be a stickler for the capitalization and punctuation. These show you how an episode is cited, and you have an episode from a series. So down here, my episode was Educating Sergeant Pansky, and it's punctuated like that, but the series is entitled Frontline, and it's punctuated like that. Please, please, please double check all of that in your essay. I promise I will take off points, and I don't want to do that. If you aren't sure of the person's last name to use, who to count as your author, please see me. I want to show you what the context looks like in these. For this one, it's right here. That's her linking her hook into her thesis. For mine, it's right here. That's my context. I'm giving a transition in between. Okay. Moving along. You need to also include a brief summary of what your documentary talks about. It might be in the first paragraph, or it might be, as the sample we saw, it serves as a second paragraph of the essay all by itself. Doesn't matter as long as it works together. And you can see me in your drafting process to double check that. The one main disclaimer is you are on a limited word count, so keep your summary brief. You only want as much information as we need in order to understand your analysis. If there's more than that, we're in trouble because you're focused on that instead of your analysis. So if we go back to our examples, this one actually puts it a very, very brief summary right here. Oops. I'm not sure why that turned yellow. I wanted this part because we talked about that in class, that she puts the summary down here as well. In my sample essay, I included a brief summary right here, and you can read that on your own. Finally, make sure your introduction ends with your thesis. It should be clear, it should be concise, and it's very easy to locate for your reader. If you follow all of those steps, you will have a wonderful, fabulous introduction and thesis, and I can't wait to read the essay.